Okay. Some of you may have heard some horror stories about opening a bank account in Panama. So today I'm going to spill the tea. I'm going to tell you how it is, how you can avoid a mishap, and it's not what you think. Keep watching. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to SWRA, Single Women Retiring Abroad. Thank you for joining me again. I'm Maggie, your host. I am so happy to be with you again. Today, I am trying a different location, so I hope it's okay. So, you saw the title Real Estate and Banking in Panama. Real estate, there's a lot of information about that. But banking, there's a lot of fear and trepidation because people say it's horrible. No, horrible might be a strong word, but it is different from what you used to. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So before we do that, please like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. I am happy to report that we did meet this new milestone. We reached 3,000 subscribers in about a month, which is really great. And I give God the glory and I thank you. Thank you for your support and your love. You know, I try my best to bring you information that helps you to transition and to soft land here in Panama. Today's topic, I want to do a disclaimer. I am not a real estate agent and I'm not an expert in banking. You know, I always tell you, I'm not a guru, I'm not a coach. My videos are all about sharing my experience in the process. That's all. I also always encourage you to look for other sources of information because Maggie's not the only one. I know my delivery and I joke along with you in these videos, and I love doing that. I absolutely love doing it. But also take everything I tell you with a grain of salt. This is my experience. You talk to someone else, their experience might be different. Okay? All right, let's get started. Real estate. Now, I and others encourage you to do your research. Remember that first assessment is important. Do your research and do some scouting trips. Now, pros and cons, whether you need a scouting trip or not, or two, I don't know. Relocation tours, people talk about pros and cons. Do you need one or two? I don't know. I did not do a relocation tour, but they have their values for different people. So you got my disclaimer here. So I'm just going to share with you my journey. Yes, I did my research. Yes, I did. I came to Panama 3 times before I decided to move. And I'm not sorry I did that. And that is why I recommend it because I know it worked for me. I just like data. I like information and I like to write things down. You know, I have one or two of those and I'm always, because if I don't write something down, I find that I don't remember it or I'm not committed to it. Okay. So you've decided on Panama. During your relocation tour, you really should be checking out different neighborhoods. Okay. I can tell you that Panama City, and I can only speak about Panama City. There are other people who live in the Boquete area, San Carlos, Coronado. They have Facebook groups in those areas that you can check out. I cannot intelligently and ethically tell you anything about those areas. I took a bus to Coronado and I did not like it. It wasn't for me. I've been to Boquete a couple of times. I love the area to visit, but I couldn't see myself living there. To each his own. Know thyself. I keep saying that again. That's what you want. In my last video, I talked to you about knowing your why when I was talking about expat failure. Because if you have a really strong why, whatever else you're dealing with in your new home, you're going to take care of it because, this is not as big as my why. My why is still up here. Therefore, I'm going to push through, right? Okay. So in looking at real estate, when you come on those um, scouting trips, my brain is stopping in between. In those scouting trips, you want to, if you decide to do Panama City, because we're going to stick to Panama City, right? You need to check different neighborhoods. So when you're talking to people, the neighborhoods, we have 26 different neighborhoods here in Panama City. And of course, I haven't been to all of them, but the ones that are expat friendly or the ones that expats love are like El Cangrejo, Balboa Avenue, which is Bella Vista, San Francisco, Paitilla, Punta Pacifica, Costa del Este. And so that's just a small sample. I'm just saying those are the neighborhoods that expats tend to gravitate to. And, for a multitude of reasons, people talk about restaurants and accessibility and being able to go to the store and get coffee shops, whether they're walkable or not. Okay. So whatever is important to you, you could have like a spreadsheet or a list about those areas and visit them yourself, right? And then mark what you liked about them. And then if they fit your criteria, then when you land, you already have an idea of your favorite area. It's important to do that, right? And another thing that I encourage newcomers to do, and that's me, you may not agree, is to just get a 6-month lease, not 3 months. 3 months, you could do that during a scouting trip. But, I'm on the patio and hopefully you're not hearing all that noise. I checked, and it didn't seem that you could. But anyway, kind of gives you an idea of life here in the city, that this is a city. Cities are loud and noisy. So get used to it, right? If that's your choice. So you should have a favorite, a couple of places that you want to check out. So do the 6-month lease because in 6 months, you have a good understanding of, do I like this area? What do I like about it? Is it noisy? Is it not noisy? What happens on the weekend? Because again, you're in a city, you expect a certain level of noise. But knowing what works for you and your non-negotiables is like, I can deal with that, then that gives you time, okay? But in trying to find a 6-month lease, you're still keeping those things in mind about safety, right? You want to be in an area or in a PH, meaning a high rise, that has 24-hour security. Remember, you being my target audience is a single female. We have to really have safety in the back of our mind. And I can refer you to Aisha, one of my neighbor friends here. And on her YouTube channel, Abroad-SWRA, she has 3 videos. She did a series about women, single women, and their understanding of safety and how they feel. So I'll put them in the description. You can check them out, okay? And I was on the panel with 2 other ladies and Aisha. So it's important for you to consider safety, accessibility, whether, some people come here and they want to buy a car right away. They don't like to walk. More power to them. I want to walk. I haven't had a car and I've been here almost 2 years. I'm still like, will I get a car or not? I don't know. The driving in the city is pretty scary. So get a 6-month lease so you can get your feet wet, get an idea whether you like it or not. And if you love the area, then when you renew, you can renew for a year, but chances are you're not going to stay in the same area. There are going to be some things that you don't like or something else that you want in your new home. So the 6-month trial to me is important. And it kind of positions you again for success so you don't become a statistic, a failed expat. All right. How do you find your new home, even that very first 6-month lease. There is a law in Panama City that prohibits PHs, owners to do short-term rental for less than 45 days. So if you come and you don't have an idea of where you want to be and you're going to be exploring, you need to do an Airbnb for maybe 2 weeks. I did a 2-week Airbnb, and in that 2 weeks, every day I was out seeing apartments with a realtor. And if it takes you longer, you might need to move to another Airbnb, or maybe they'll extend it and renew for another week as you find your new home. What I caution people not to do is to feel rushed to make a choice. Rushed because you're afraid if you see something, it's not going to be there. Have no fear. There is plenty of inventory in the city. Right now, it's not high, what's the word? It's not the busy season here in Panama. If you're coming now, I think January to May is when people come to visit because there's no rain. It's not the rainy season. So prices tend to maybe go up a little bit. I was watching, in telling you to check out other people's videos. This weekend, I watched 2 videos of people in the community talking about real estate, and they take you through different apartments and accommodations so you can get an idea of what's available and the prices. One video was with 2 seasoned realtors, relocation specialists, and they have great information. I will also put them in the description. Please, as you're doing your research, take a look at that, okay? When you're in a rush to get an apartment, you might not see things, okay? And again, Aisha did a video about the things to look for when you're looking at an apartment. You might want to check that one out also. Because things like plumbing, mold, the AC, filters, those are important things. And sometimes when we come here, we come from having our own home. And those are not things that we use to have a checklist to check off, but it's important, okay? And the other thing I want to caution you about, not to be rushing to get an apartment, is like when you have a tour, and I'm not saying anything, a disclaimer, I am not bad-mouthing relocation tours. I think they have their place for certain people, but sometimes people have said that they felt pressured to buy. You go into a building and everything is spanking clean, the floors are shining, you're looking at the ocean and you ooh and ah, and it's like, you want to sign right now. Don't do it. Okay? Just take your time. It's never good to rush to do a buy or a lease based on emotions or first look. There's always something that may be lurking underneath that you're going to miss. So take your time. You may want to go back and see a unit more than once. And the realtors are very accommodating to take you around so you can see something once or twice. It's okay. Take your time. Don't be rushed. I'm making a plug for you. For you to work with a realtor. A realtor is somebody who knows the market, has been around, and has access to the inventory. I also found out yesterday that there is an MLS system, multiple listing service. I was under the impression that what we know as MLS in the US, they don't have it here. But I'm finding they tell me it is here. They have like 4,000 realtors on that list. And the other thing that I heard in one of the videos yesterday is that the majority of the inventory is not advertised. So when you go to Encuentra 24, what you're seeing there is just a little sample of what's available. So, and again, being a single woman, I highly recommend that you work with a realtor. And again, it's like finding a doctor or a dentist. You are looking for personal referrals. Ask around. Who are you using now? Don't go crazy. Because it's funny, this lady posted that she found an apartment and she took pictures. She's probably in this area showing the ocean. And people are like, oh, this is great. Oh, how much should you pay? First of all, I find it it's a little bit rude for someone who doesn't know you to come right out and ask you how much your rent is. I just don't like that, right? Or there's like, who's your realtor? Now, this is how we find out about people. This is how we find out about doctors, hairdressers, nail techs. It's okay to ask around. Who's your realtor? Are you happy with him? What do you like about him? Why don't you like about him? So we and they, the people on the program, also recommend that you join Facebook groups, Panama City Expats and Local, Panama Rentals, Panama Marketplace. But put your question out there, saying, I'm new in town, I'm looking for this. Does anybody have any recommendations? And there are also some WhatsApp groups where you can pose questions about what you're looking for. And it is amazing how open people are to check with you their experiences. So work with a realtor, ask for personal references, and then go for it. Don't be rushed. Okay, those three things are important for you. All right. When you want to go renew your lease, let's say after the 6 months, and you say, no, I'm ready, I love this place, I'm gonna sign. When you get your lease, it will be in Spanish, okay? You should ask for an English translation. And the other thing I also encourage people to do is to have your attorney review the lease. There are people, ladies, my sisters who come to Panama, they come with the attitude that I'm going to embrace everything. Now, they watch my videos, they watch other people's videos, but they still come with the mindset that they're going to do whatever they want. Insist. If you have your mind made up, why do you ask the question? And when someone like me gives you the answers, you shut it down. I mentioned having the lease reviewed by the attorney. And this lady is like, oh, I didn't do that. You don't need to do that. And I'm like, for $35, $50, I'm doing it. You do you. Okay. What I want to know in the lease, I want to know the termination clause, if you don't want to renew, like I had to go look at my lease to say, if I choose to leave my apartment, I only have to give a 30-day notice. I was under the impression I needed to give 60 or 90 days. So you need to know. You need to know what you're responsible for maintenance. I was responsible for doing like a 6-month cleaning or something about with the AC units. And I did it because that's my responsibility. I speak a little bit of Spanish, but I don't think I am fluent enough to look at a legal document because that's what a lease is. So I'm recommending again that you have your lease reviewed by your attorney. $50, not going to break the bank. Shouldn't. All right. Also, you might want to decide, do you want furnished or unfurnished? The majority of us do furnished, right? And furnished apartment comes with a bed, if it's 1 or 2 bedrooms. The closets are built in, so you have those. You'll have a couch, maybe a chair or two. It may not have everything you need. It may not have a dining room. Like for my apartment, there was a dining room in here. I'm like, oh no, I don't want that. Please take that. And I bought the dining room. So you could do half and half, a mix. Or you could say, I'm bringing my furniture. That's you. I didn't want all that, paying money, having things shipped. and worry about whether it's going to be in good shape when it gets here, because that's a lot to carry, furniture from, let's say, Maryland all the way to Panama. They have furniture here, but I'm not telling you what to do. It's up to you. Or if you didn't send your furniture or bring your furniture, you're going to have to go shopping. And they do have stores here, so don't worry. If that's part of the soft landing and transition for you to choose your own stuff, you do you, sis. Go for it. But if they are furnished, they would have a washer and dryer. It could be side by side, or it could be a compact, up and down. What else would you have in there? Some apartments even have kitchen supplies, pots and pans and some silverware, television. Some units will have TV in all the rooms. Some, I didn't have a TV in my apartment at all. And then she was like, I'm like, you don't even have one TV? She's like, no, do you need one? I'm like, of course I need one. So I made her buy one TV for the living room. I don't have one in my bedroom. Some places have it in all the rooms. And also, what else? Patio furniture, you may have it, or you may have them or not, and you can choose to buy those. So it's like, what do you want? What's important to you? And you tell the realtor too, I want oceanfront, or I want to have washer and dryer as a given, usually linea blanca, that's what they call it here. Or, you may have to buy a few items. My previous apartment, I had everything except I didn't have pots and pans. So I went and bought one skillet, and that's what I used for the 6 months. Okay, so you got your lease. Make sure you have your 24-hour security in your PH. Get the phone number for the front desk in case of emergency. That's important. And then I'll do another video about the emergency plan, because I was going to talk to the ladies about it last meeting, but it got canceled. But that is something to keep in mind, because you're in a foreign country. You need some contacts. And I and everybody else tell you that you need to have contacts before you come, but don't put all your eggs in one basket, because sometimes the people you connect with on Facebook, and when you come here, they may or may not work as contact for you. So don't hold your feeling on your sleeves and get upset if they don't come through. You just keep pushing and making contact. Okay. I don't think I have enough time to talk about buying versus renting or leasing. I think it's prudent to lease first. I have people in my comments saying, well, why did you choose to rent and not buy? First of all, you don't know the place. You don't know the neighborhoods. Why would I just come and sign a check and buy something without seeing it, without experiencing the place? Not a good idea. But if you want to come and sign off and buy something, it's on you. You do you, okay? Let's see. Now let's go to banking, because I think the time is running away from us. When you are visiting Panama, I believe it. Again, I am not an expert. I think I've seen that question. Can I open a bank account from the US? And I believe somebody said you can. I don't know that, okay? I know that when I came, some attorneys in their immigration package, when you hire them to do your visa, some of them will offer a line in the agreement that they're going to help you set up your bank account. I didn't have that, and my attorney did not offer that. She did say, oh, we can help you, but that never materialized. So I did it on my own. But there are people, there are people, especially the ones doing relocation tours, that might include that in their package. So if you don't speak Spanish, it's probably a good service. When I was here last year, there were individuals who were referred to me through Facebook groups as being able to take you to the bank and do the translating and help you. Just like there are people here to help you get your driver's license, get a car, and insurance. They're all here. You just need to ask someone and they'll say, oh, call this guy, call this guy. They're here. That's part of their job to help expats. And because so many of us are coming here, business is booming, okay? So when I needed to open my bank account, I was told I needed my passport, I needed my residency card, I needed my letter, my social security letter for my funds, and I also needed like 3 months worth of bank statements. Okay, because I was going on my own, I had all that ready. And my experience at the bank, maybe I'll do another video about the mañana mindset. Yes, it was all there. I got baptized. But when I got there, the only thing they took from me was my passport and my letter. Also, they say because you have to be kind of a resident or in the process of becoming a resident to open a bank account. That's what I understand. So if you have your temporary card, you can open a bank account, right? Because you have temporary, and then in 4 to 6 months, you come back and get the permanent, right? So if you are not even, if you're in a rush, let's say you want to get it done, and you don't want to wait until your appointment to get the temporary card, you can get a letter from your attorney that said, that Miss Maggie is my client, and I filed for her a permanent residency. We're just waiting to get an appointment. They will take that as well. I think the idea is that they want to know that you're committed and you're going to be living in the country to open a bank account. Panama is a financial center. A lot of people from Europe and other places park their money here. So they are very aware of the financial market worldwide. But there is a heightened concern with money laundering. So they take time. So when they took my passport, I mean, it was hours I was sitting there. And I believe they were running it through maybe the FBI or Scotland Yard. I don't know. But it took a while. And they are very particular about signature. You must have experienced the signature thing when you went to immigration. They want you to sign when they're going to give you your card. They want the signature to match how you sign in your passport. So start practicing. And don't try to change it. Just try to stick to it because they will make you do it over and over again. And it's going to extend the time you're in the bank and your frustration level is going to be high. Okay? So when I got there, I handed my passport. I handed to them my letter from Social Security. They didn't ask me for the bank statement. And I believe I did hand my residency card. That's all you need. Now, someone who does videos when I first got here said, oh, when you go to the bank, it's going to take you 2 to 3 days to get it done. No, I had it done in 1 day. That's why I said, don't believe the hype. Don't believe everything you hear. Experience for yourself, right? So I was sitting there for a long time and then I got up and I said, that's a whole different video. I'm like, I've been sitting here. Like, oh, okay, we'll take care of you. Okay. So it helped again because I speak enough Spanish. But if you don't, consider adding it to your visa agreement. So your bank will send a staff member to help you, or your relocation person can also help you. Okay. But if some sisters are coming here and you don't have anybody, I can help you too. Okay. Of course, I'm going to charge you something because that's my time. All right. So then once you leave the bank, usually when I went to the bank, I was not asked if I wanted a savings or checking account. They just gave me a savings account. It's cuenta de ahorros, okay? AHORROS means savings. But they also give you a debit card. When you leave with a debit card because there's no mail service. They're not going to mail it to you. Don't expect that. You leave with your debit card. Now, I think you need only like $50 to open an account, but I don't think anybody is going to put $50 in their account. And what I recommend that you do, if you can put as much money, when you first come, whether it's cash, I know you can't bring more than 10,000, but if you're bringing like a check, a cashier's check or anything like that, put as much money as you can on that account because then it's going to help you as you start paying your bills and you don't have to keep going to the ATM and deal with those ATM fees. Okay? I think I'm going to just take a few minutes to talk about that. So you get your account number, you get your debit card. That debit card, there is usually a machine right outside the main entrance of the bank where there is a security. Every bank in Panama has one or more security guards, right? So you can go into the ATM and you can take money out of that ATM without paying the fees because this is your account and your debit card. So that's why I say if you can put like $10,000, $15,000, that will help you. I had a problem with doing ACH transfer because my phone number from the US, I had turned it in and I couldn't get the two-step verification. Oh, it was a mess. So banking in Panama can be a challenge if you don't know the restrictions and you don't speak Spanish, okay? So if you put, let's say, $1,000 in that account, and then in a week or two, you need to pay your rent. First of all, you're going to have to do an ACH transfer from your bank to this bank. One tip, keep your US number. I know you may have to pay for it, but don't get rid of it. I got rid of my number when thought I was going to South Africa. I thought I was going to be gone for 2 years and I didn't want to have to pay it. And I've lived to regret that because when I came back in November, then I didn't have a US number. And to deal with your bank in the US, you need a US-based phone. So keep your phone. I know you got to pay for it, but it's worth it, okay? So if you want to pay your bills the way we do it here, and my friend Sonia, told me about this bank here called BAC. I'm not sure exactly what that means. That's an acronym. But you can go, first of all, you have to set your daily limits with your bank. If you say, for protection, only $1,000 a day I can remove from my account per day, and that's what the bank knows. You can go in back and put your ATM card from the US in there with your PIN, and you can take out as much as that daily limit. Sometimes you have to make more than one trip, right? Let's say your rent is $1,500 and you can only take out $1,000 a day. So you're going to have to make 2 trips to that bank. And then the good thing about it, if you go to Multiplaza, for example, we have a banking center on the 3rd level, and you could just take that cash from the bank and just walk over to your bank and make a deposit. So the banks that expats are most comfortable with are like Banismo, Banco General. They have other ones too, but those 2 are the most popular for expats. And Banco General has Yapi is, what is it? It's an app that you can scan and then you can buy anything anywhere in Panama. So I don't have that, but I do okay with Banismo because Banismo was the one that was recommended to me as being very expat friendly, and their information on their website is bilingual in English. So that's important. So if you don't have a bank account, maybe some people don't, I don't know anyone who doesn't, you have to go into the ATM, any ATM, and use your ATM card from the US. You are limited to $250 per day. And then there is a charge, an ATM fee of $6.50. And I'm sure your bank in the US is going to charge you too. So it can get pricey. Let's say you have a rent of 1,500. How many trips are you going to make to get to 1,500? And that's without your electric, your phone, and cable. So for that reason, it pays to get a bank account here in Panama. And some people mentioned some banks that reimburse you the ATM fees, like Chase or Fidelity or Capital One. You can check into those, right? And some people mentioned Wise Transfer, Wise as a way to transfer money from your US bank account to here. I can't speak to that because I don't use Wise. But banking can be a bit complicated. And also for real estate, if you want to buy, the people on the panel yesterday were talking about how difficult it is for you to get a mortgage loan here if you want to buy. The best way for an expat to buy property in Panama is the automatic cash. Okay? You probably can do a transfer from your bank to their bank here, but it's difficult to get a mortgage. And sis, why would you want a mortgage at your age? That's what I want to know. The ladies and I, we were considering, what's available for buying. And when we think about it, at our age, do we want to take a mortgage or take cash from the sale of our home and give it to a Panamanian developer and $200,000? I don't know. That's tough. Because what if I die in 2 years? What if I die in 5 years? I think it's probably wiser to use some money that we have to travel, maybe finance our grandkids' education, do something good with it. We don't need all the hoopla, all the big houses, penthouses. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like if I can have a nice enough apartment, that's good enough for me. And enough money to live a comfortable life and travel and bless others. There is no greater joy than helping your grandkids or somebody who's in need. And we have needs all over us here in Panama. And I'm trying really hard to get hooked up with some charities to do charity work. There was a young man that was in the news the other day who is disabled and the family needed help. And I reached out to the TV station to see if we can get hooked up, but it's not easy here in Panama. It's not like in the US, you send an email and somebody responds to you. No, the manana mindset is everywhere. So like I said, get used to it. All right. I think, again, this was a long one. But remember, for real estate, rent first for 6 months, get your feet wet, get your bearing, check out the neighborhood, and then have your lease reviewed by your attorney. That's my advice. Know what's important to you. Work with a professional realtor. You will not regret it. And for banking, you need your passport, your benefit letter, and your residency status, whether it's the card or a letter from your attorney. There's a whole lot more we can talk about in terms of those two topics, but I think that should get you started. And again, I'm not the only source of information for you. I am no expert. I'm just sharing with you my journey. And with my bank, I have not had any issue. Even when I was robbed, they were the first bank to refund my money. So right now, I am paying a few dollars a month for extra security. I'm not even sure what that means, but extra security. But they do have the app, and I can pay my bills to my phone. I don't ever have to go anywhere to pay for electric. My rent is a transfer from my bank to my realtor, my landlord's bank, and I pay my phone, my utilities, and my cable, all of that in the app. And one thing I tell people, when you go in there to say you want to pay for services and you put the name, you say T-Mobile, Mobile, or Tigo, the amount that you owe shows up automatically. It's like they're connected. They know how much you owe, and it's seamless. It's great. All right. I'm determined to stop this video before 40 minutes. I thank you for watching again. Again, my videos are really practical. This is to help you have a soft landing and know what you need to do to get settled, okay? My next video, definitely, I was gonna do the one on medical health insurance options, but I'm waiting for some information from the agent in the US that I'm talking to. So you will have that as a reference, but there are other type sources of information in this area, and a lot of people are saying a lot of things. All right, I'm gonna end here. Thank you for watching. Remember, I didn't tell you to share the video, like, and subscribe. I love you. God loves you. Au revoir. À la prochaine. Bye bye. I was recently honored to attend a presentation on the history of the pollera in Panama. The pollera came from southern Spain in areas like Andalusia. It is a type of peasant feminine dress of the 17th century with hoops and embroidered silk, and of course has become a prominent part of Panamanian folkloric identity. It is the dream of every Panamanian woman to own a pollera. They are just stunning, and we see them at any presentation. Discovering Panama with Maggie.